Should we go to the prison first? I mean, they've been very weak so far. Doesn't feel like there's been much to worry about so far. Look at that. Oh, there's more of them there. Okay. How about this spell? Wow, that is so powerful. The AoE Phantasmal Killer is a pretty funny spell. Alright, it's healer. Commander, you've risen from the dead after all, and not a minute too soon. I suppose that means I owe Anevia money now. I've never been so happy to lose a bet in my entire life. By the way, we've got a little brawl coming up here. Why could we could really use your help? You were supposed to free the prisoners. What are you waiting for? I didn't expect it to take this long. These demons, they have no discipline at all. A bunch of them got bored and came in here to torture the prisoners for fun. I could have handled the guards, but not a whole mob as well. When you came in, I was just weighing my options. What's your assessment of the situation in Dresden? The situation is god's awful, to put it mildly. It feels like some thugs have taken over our home, and they won't stop rubbing our noses in it. Although now I'm starting to think it may be a good thing. Let the demons lower their guard. It will make it easier for us to wipe them out. You bet they wouldn't come back. Why? Truth to be told, Commander, I'm a practical man, and I never count on miracles. That doesn't mean I'm not happy to see you. On the contrary, I suppose a miracle you don't expect brings you the most joy, especially if it saves you from certain death. I mean, I can't really blame him. I was out for 6 months. Let's go. We'll free the prisoners together. Okay, let's save it here. More weaklings. Beaten, but not broken. Okay, I also need to give him the Spinner of Nightmares diary. I wonder if I can do it now. Also, is there anything else here? More loot. Okay. Thanks, Commander. Wait. Something is wrong. Why this music? Something is wrong here. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Isn't he? Oh, I got scared there. Where did he go anyway? It's not here. Okay, well, let's go to the Half Measure Tavern now. Ooh, fuck, bro. Have to be careful here. Is this selective? No. Okay, these packs are not very strong. Or maybe this is the first time in this game where I actually feel strong. You know? Could be the first time in this game where I actually feel strong. Where I feel like, oh, these spells, they are good. We're doing damage. Level up as well, that's pretty good. Alright, now we can go. Check out this area. There's no need to run. Okay. Tense situation in the tavern. Hey, why don't I give you this little present here? Now this is not selective, so we have to be careful. Oh, I made a reflex save. Okay, well, fine. You didn't. have to be careful here. Not all of us will be able to make these reflex saves. Right, that's all of them. Help the one-eyed devil in the tavern. Wait, why did I fail that? What? I am in the tavern. Oh, they are dead. But how did they die? Was I too late? I'm not sure what happened there, but... yeah, I really don't know. Right, don't get sucked in. I'm curious now, why did it fail? I'm gonna Google it. I'm very curious now. Alright, so apparently it depends on some choices made earlier in Act 1, whether we can save both healer and what was his name? What was his name again? Oh yeah, one-eyed devil. So unfortunately I couldn't do it. Now we have to strike the Bell of Mercy. So we're gonna leave the tavern. Need some heals here actually. Let's use this. I think some of our buffs are wearing off now. So yeah, heroism is gone. And some other buffs. Wait, which way should I go now? I think upstairs. Here. So we checked the prison, the tavern, the barracks, and the temple. But I'm sure there'll be more enemies here. Okay, yeah. Oh wow. Fuck, they're already attacking. Alright, I managed to actually buff myself. So potentially maybe I'll be fine. Although this is a mythic opponent. Only 39 AC though, so that's not too bad. But it just hits so hard. Although these minotaurs are helping me here. Whoa, Nanya, what are you doing? What the hell was that? You were supposed to cast Phantasm Killer. What happened there? That was not good. My little friend. Alright, I don't know why I used Icy Prison there, but whatever. Greater Quicken Meta Magic Rod. Okay, that's pretty good. I was just checking if we are carrying too much stuff. How do I get here? Where is that other bell that I'm looking for, I wonder? Because the first one, I was about to strike it and I did it after I killed the enemies that it was supposed to help me kill. Alright, that's the main yard. Oh. How strong are you? Not very strong. Not very strong, my friend. You're not too strong, that's for sure. Okay, well, I take that back. What the hell? What? 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 What the hell? What? How did you do that? Okay, well, I take that back immediately. Literally obliterated me. What was that? That was some insane amounts of damage. Oh, maybe I need to wait for him to cast this spell or whatever it was. Why is everybody red? What the hell was that? Is that a bug? I don't know. Well, either way, he's dead. Thanks for the sword, I guess. I'm not really sure what happened there. Could have been a bug, honestly. Or, I don't know. Right, this is gonna be tough, probably. No? Where is the other bell? Now I wonder if I should go to the citadel now, or Bell of Mercy. Wait, where is it though? Where is the storyteller anyway? Is he inside the citadel? I don't know, I'm going in. This used to be my room. Oh, that's the storyteller. And Irabeth. Okay, cool. Strike the Bell of Mercy. Okay. Done, I guess. Long months have passed, Commander. But even while you were away on the other plane, I could hear your brave heart beating. That sound never stopped for a second. Commander, you're a lively one, Grandpa Elf, always finding yourself in the most dangerous spots, but I'm still glad to see you, although you'd be safer tucked up by fire somewhere. How have things been this past 6 months? Well, we've already been told that by Anevia and others, but we spent that time serving the Queen to the best of our ability, but a week ago, after she announced her decision to proceed with the crusade, many of us came to conclusion that we could not go with her because we did not believe that you were truly dead. We humbly declined the honors offered to us and remained here to await your return. It was an easier decision for me than for others. I had encountered you in the abyss and I knew you were alive, but not everyone believed me. And then yesterday I had a vision. I was leafing through the pages that you had collected for me and suddenly I saw the future. Not the future clamoring to be told by the page in my hand, but your future, the future of the person who first brought that page to me. In my vision, you returned from the abyss, marked by new powers that wound around you like snakes. Your voice made the earth tremble, people and demons dropped to knees, and Iomedae herself extended you a helping hand. But the only thing you were concerned with was the whereabouts of the banner that Queen Galfrey had taken with her. I know what I saw is difficult to believe, but I am in the habit of trusting my visions, so I hurried to the citadel to lay my hands on some of Queen Galfrey's possession and try to discern where she went and where your banner is now. My story is simpler. Anevia and I both agree that we should stay here to wait for you. We are supposed to serve the Queen, but our hearts are here. Besides, you're still the commander of the Crusade, and I have no rights to abandon you. Even if there is almost no hope left, although I must admit that the storyteller's tale about his vision of your imminent return seemed quite vague, I followed him here to make sure he didn't accidentally hurt himself. I'm glad that he proved to be right and you really have returned. Do you know where the Queen went? It wasn't easy. I see the Queen's future and her past as if looking through shattered glass. Multiple visions come one after another, distorting the picture. The Queen is in mortal danger at the crossroads of her fate, and her every step may prove fatal. But I did not give up, and fortune smiled upon me. I touched her goblet and learned where she was leading her army. Her Majesty decided to march for east, a bold move, one worthy of a queen who is not accustomed to hiding. My, that was indeed a bold move for my dear cousin, no doubt about it, as bold as stepping into a volcano. This is an utterly anti-scientific method of acquiring information, and that's what makes it so interesting. I'll have to conduct a series of experiments involving you to establish how you react to various objects, to identify patterns in the amount of information that you receive from them. You've already said that in exactly those words. You even conducted your experiments. You handed me some shards to hold. Once you brought a huge club, and another time you gave me a living hedgehog. And then you said that the experiment was a failure and immediately forgot all about it. Really? Well, if I decided to forget all about it, that must mean I didn't learn anything of interest. I won't remember this time either. So, what were we talking about? We must hurry and help the Queen. Let's take Dresden back, Commander, and then we march onward. East, that place sounds familiar. Can you remind me of the details? Oh, East, the city that hangs over the abyss. It once was the citadel of legendary rulers, the capital of Sarkoris, but now demons are tearing it apart, making a mockery of its former glory. 2/3 of its magnificent streets and proud towers have collapsed into the world wound. But the city still holds on, just as Sarkoris holds on, defeated by refusing to die. The Queen did the right thing. We've mustered enough strength to try and go for the offense, for the first time since the First Crusade. If we don't recapture East now, who knows how many years we'll have to wait for another opportunity to approach it. We must leave this place. It's time for the final battle for Dresden. Yes, your arrival has changed everything. After we lost Dresden, it felt as if the light of hope had left us forever, but you are just like the sword of valor. You are the banner of our victory. I was afraid we would not be able to succeed without the banner. We may not have the banner, but we are still here. We lived to see you return. You truly are our banner, Commander. 2 arms. There is one more thing. In the shattered fragments that form her fate, I can sense your presence. I am convinced that the Queen could sense it too. No one can say what your next encounter will lead to, but there is one thing I know for certain. Queen Galfrey's fate and yours are tightly intertwined. What the hell's that? That doesn't sound very good. Orengopta. Here comes the commander, kids. So, Commander, do you like what you see? You've arrived just in time to hear your friends screaming for help. They trust you, and look what's happened to them. Do you actually think you can rescue them? Ha! Who do you think you are? Who sent this army here, you beast? We all serve our master Baphomet, Lord of the Labyrinth. He promises Dresden and your skin as doormat. I'll rescue my friends, or fighters of Dresden, don't give up, sounds better, haha. Do you really believe they can hear you? All your pathetic attempts to win turns it to ashes, don't you see? And this is the great hero everyone is afraid of. Come on, show us what you've got. What are you waiting for? Can't you hear them screaming? Why aren't you rushing to help them? Alright, you can't. You are just a mortal insect that bit off more than it could chew. You're nobody. Now I've got two options here. Legend, Mythic path. I am immortal. I am the commander of this crusade. This is my city, my people, and my destiny. Or Angel, Mythic path. Let the darkness perish. Be gone from my world, demon. Let's go with this one, because we're a paladin, and we want to be consistent, I guess. Power rushes through your body, almost ripping it apart. The wound in your chest bursts open in spray of bloody droplets. The might bestowed upon you by the abyss and Arilu Vorlesh erupts into this world, and you pay for it in purest agony. Light suffuses you, bright and shining, light and the desire to protect your world at any cost. Looks like they never stood a chance. Who are you? An incredible silence suddenly descends over the city. It is broken by the solemn sound of fanfares that seem to come from the faraway everywhere and nowhere all at once. All eyes are turned to the huge stained glass window of the city's main cathedral. It begins to glow with a soft light, and in the next breath, a lone figure steps out of the glass onto the cobblestones of Dresden.
Knight Commander, at last we meet.
Really? That's Iomedae. There's no mistaking her. Iomedae, the goddess who has deigned to descend to the world of mortals. You companions shield their faces, unable to withstand her radiance. The surviving demons quiver, the townsfolk fall to their knees, but the deity eyes are on you and you alone. At least we meet. I can just try and kill her. Oh look, everyone's a god. I greet you, Light of the Sword.
And I greet you, Knight Commander. I suppose you're asking yourself why I am here. Gods must not interfere directly in the affairs of mortals. But what is happening here, in the World Wound, is no longer the concern of mortals alone. And this is proof. This fortress has witnessed so many horrors and miracles. It makes me wonder how it still stands. I know how much light and hope you have brought to the Crusaders. Your achievements are indisputable. But during all that time, your followers believed that their leader was Heaven's chosen. This is a bitter lie, and goodness and justice cannot be based on lies. The light that emanates from you is deceiving, and dangerously bright. It burns your companions, and one day it will burn you too. But I did not come here to reproach you, or to bewail the fate of the unfortunate defenders of Dresden. I wish to stop the forces of evil, and defend Golarion, both from Dascari's violent rage and from Nocticula's insidiousness. But that is not my only goal. I have come here to restore justice, for justice is the birthright of all. That's why I hail you as a hero who has triumphed over the demons many times. At the same time, I grieve for you, as for a soul that is caught in a web of demonic deceit and villainy.
Right, maybe I did acquire my powers from a dubious source, but I follow my own path.
You may think so, but alas, this is not true. It can be, however, if you accept my help. In that moment, when my poor herald was being torn apart by monsters, he found the strength to send me a message about what he had learned in the Abyss. You were an Illusionera, where you spoke with the Lady in Shadow and the Architect of the World Wound. They confessed what they had done to you, but they did not reveal the whole truth. Both you and this unfortunate world will have to pay dearly for the power that they so generously bestowed upon you. But all is not yet lost. That is why I have come.
The walls of Dresden shake again, and, with a ringing laugh, a black shadow appears before the shining goddess. Nocticula in the flesh. Standing beside her is a real Vorlesh, who stares at the goddess with ice-cold rage in her eyes.
Who here has been taking my name in vain? Ah, it's you, the Inheritor. What's this? Our worst fears have come to pass. The gods are flocking to Golarion. This merry little tinderbox could ignite at any moment, reducing the material plane to dust.
I did not come here to fight.
Oh, really? I didn't realize you were good for anything else. Forgive me, that was unfair of me. Judging by your successes over the last 100 years, fighting is not your forte. After all, the wound is still there, as far as I know. So why are you here? If you have come to meddle in my affairs, don't expect me simply to stand aside.
Alright, we have a few options now. We can just side with one of them. I don't trust anybody here, like, let's be honest. I don't trust you. I definitely don't trust you. And I don't trust you either. So I'm gonna say, I'm ready to hear what you want to tell me.
Do you hear me, Nocticula? You and your servant are under no obligation to leave. I have come here to shed the light of truth. Let us see if you both can withstand its merciless radiance. I cannot change the flow of mortal history by force. After all, the World Wound is their doing, although committed at the behest of the Abyss. But sometimes force is unnecessary, and truthful words are all it takes.
The goddess who was mortal not so long ago is eager to judge us for our sins now. My sin, to be precise. What lies behind your eagerness, proud Iomedae? Righteous wrath? Or perhaps fear? Watch out. A simple mortal woman has learned how to grant powers to others. Powers which are beyond the wildest dreams of many Imperial lords. This must be stopped, forbidden, taken away immediately. After all, what need will we have for all these arrogant gods once we become their equals?
Silence. It's impolite to interrupt your elders. But you know, Inheritor, she does have a point. What are you going to do now? Break my weapon, which has made so many victories possible, and only because he received that weapon from my profane hands, and the entire affair must therefore be profane also? What real reasons do you have? Save those born of your envy, your capriciousness, and your suspicions?
My reasons are quite real, as you well know. That is why you appeared here in such haste, is it not? You have woven a delicate lace of half-truths, Nocticula. From you and your servant, the Knight Commander has learned that he is bound to the World Wound, that he is slowly dying because of its influence, and that he is yet capable of closing it. But you withheld a crucial piece of information. You never told him that closing the wound won't save him from death. For this lock will destroy the key to which it is bound. The one who closes the World Wound will die along with it.
That is true. I tried to tell you back in Illusionera, but I was not allowed to. It is an unavoidable consequence of this process. To stitch two planes together as I have stitched Golarion and the Abyss, the soul of a mortal must be woven with the essence of the Abyss. To undo this seam, the original soul, the key, must be ripped apart. No one could survive such a process.
In other words, if I don't, I'll die if I don't close the wound, and I'll die if I close it.
It is true. Now do you see the perils of accepting a demonic gift? No matter how much power the Abyss gives you, that power will always be tainted by lies and misfortune. This is the justice I promised you. The right to know the whole truth, and not to be a plaything in the hands of abyssal spawn.
Nocticula, why are you trying to hide this from me?
Trying, you say? I successfully hid the truth from you for as long as I deemed necessary. Are you expecting me to explain myself? My goal is to close the world wound, not to grant you a happily ever after.
What if I reject this power?
You will live.
Oh.
You will lose everything that makes life worth living.
You will spoil a brilliant endeavor and destroy the lives of thousands of mortals who will be devoured by the legions of demons coming from the Abyss. Aside from that, you won't do anything extraordinary at all.
What if I'm willing to sacrifice my life if it means closing the world wound?
Oh, how noble! For a brief moment, I even felt some regret that we demons are incapable of such lovely feelings. You see now, Inheritor? My little protege has more nobility in him than you expected. Shame on you.
This nobility is exactly why I came here. To help the Knight Commander learn the truth, and to show him that he has been used. Besides, I do not believe that you have been acting for selfless reasons, Lady in Shadow. Honesty and nobility have never counted among your virtues. You own the main source of Nahindrian crystals, and your servant Arilu has learned how to break the laws of the universe with their help. Can it be that the ruler of darkness and mistress of assassins has not conceived a way to use this formidable gift for her own benefit?
Accusations, suspicions, all completely hollow, just like your bright-eyed pretty little head. It's a pity you inherited Eridan's sword, but not his sharp mind. I have but one goal now. To stop the armies of that lecherous billy goat and that gluttonous bug from strutting around my domain as if it were their own. I don't give a fig whether it will help mortals or hurt them. If the enemy of your enemy makes you a mutually beneficial proposition, you would have to be a complete idiot to say no.
Can you help me cleanse my soul of this influence of the Abyss?
Arilu has planted a piece of the Abyss itself in your soul. The only thing that can cleanse the soul of such a taint is that same soul. But I will be near. I will show you how to root out the demonic corruption. I am not a demon, and I do not offer any simple solutions. You will have to go your own way, no matter where it leads.
Well, now I finally start to understand the rules of this game.
Yes. The power that Nahindrian crystals grant you will bring about nothing but your own demise. The branches of the Tree of Sin are vast and verdant, but its only fruit is death. You will not be able to save yourself unless you reject everything that has been foisted upon you. Now you know everything.
No, we're not quite finished with the revelations yet. Few secrets remain to be revealed, but they will be worth the wait. Does this look familiar? Do you remember the similar wound above your own heart? I have given you enough hints. Come on, ask me the question I have been waiting for.
With a flicker of the witch's wrist, something changes in her, as if a veil has fallen, one so thin that it was almost invisible, but which had clouded your vision nonetheless. Now you can see what was hidden before, a deep open wound above Arilu's heart. Okay. The wound pulsates and blood drips from it. Arcana check pass. I received my wound because you, Arilu, implanted the essence of the Abyss in my soul when you expanded the world wound. My question is, why do you have a similar wound? Could it be because you used your own soul as a key when you first opened the world wound?
That's right. And this means that the world wound actually has 2 keys.
Good question. Just imagine. I have wasted so much time chasing the key to the world wound, and the key was right under my nose this whole time. Rilu, my love, come over here.
Aurelia does not look like someone who has been cornered. Without a trace of fear, she gives you a faint nod and then makes a barely discernible gesture with her hand and appears as if she were never even here.
Wait, I said wait! That little bitch. I knew she would betray me sooner or later, but I never expected such an idiotic stunt. But everything seems to be falling into place quite nicely. You see, you don't have to die after all. Arilu opened the world wound, and Arilu will be the one who closes it, whether she likes it or not. Although, someone will need to catch her first, and this will require certain powers.
Okay, but why did Aurelia tell me this? What? There is something else, right? There's something else. There is a bigger game here.
Yes, Arilu Vorlesh will pay for her crimes with her life. Her flight confirms that our suppositions were correct. But now we know that the world wound can be sealed with her blood. You have no reasons to remain indebted to the Abyss and indulge the Queen of the Succubi. Reject her gift, and secure your victory while being the person you were before Arilu Vorlesh corrupted you. Win as a mortal, and become a legend among mortals.
She's talking rubbish. True, we gave you the power, but it was you who chose how to wield it. It belongs to you, and it will remain yours, so you can do whatever you want with it. But first, you must use it to close the world wound. You aren't going to catch this world's most powerful witch, and a half-demon one at that, with your bare hands, are you?
Before I make my decision, I want to ask Iomedae some questions.
Ask, and you shall have your answers.
You gained your own powers from the Starstone. How is my power any different?
My ascension was not accomplished in one day, and even the test of the Starstone was only one of its stages. I did not merely gain power. I embraced a sacred duty. Your power, on the other hand, stems not from long hours of study, not from trials. It is not the natural talent you were born with and carefully honed throughout your life. It is the result of an evil soul's deranged experiment with the blood of dead abyssal lords.
You imprisoned entire hosts of angels inside the wardstones. Why did you do that to them?
Every one of my angels volunteered for that mission. They all knew what kind of watch they were going to keep. They knew that it would be a hard and exhausting battle, but that the lives of mortals throughout Golarion would depend on it. Alas, angels' minds can be as fragile as the minds of mortals. In less than 100 years, many wavered, and wished to break the oath they had sworn. I do not blame them. I blame myself for allowing them to take on a burden that was too heavy for them.
Now we've got some really interesting questions here. Did you send your herald to follow me, or did he go of his own free will?
He acted on his own noble impulse, and I did not stop him. I also did not try to dispel his misconception about you being my chosen one. I do not lie, but both celestial beings and mortals can be mistaken.
She doesn't lie, sure. She merely withholds some of the truth. For the noblest of reasons, of course.
Do you know what happened to your herald?
My herald, my loyal companion, was captured, and now demons are using him to attack Dresden. They're holding him in the Ivory Labyrinth, Baphomet's realm of the Abyss. It is a place I cannot go, not even to save my faithful friend. For doing so would start an interplanar war. Right now, as we speak, Baphomet's servants are torturing the hand of the Inheritor. Tormented and anguished, he reaches for you with his thoughts and his soul. I cannot tell if he sees you as a great unfulfilled hope, or a last chance. But Baphomet knows well how to exploit such desperate yearning. He has turned my herald into a source of power to open temporary portals. They do not last long, but they lead from the dungeon where the hand of the Inheritor suffers, right to your doorstep. Baphomet does not need to lead his armies through the rifts. Now he can send them right here.
Maybe I can go there and...
As long as my poor herald remains in the hands of that monster, this will not stop. I cannot say if it is still possible to save him, or if putting him out of his misery is the only way. I cannot openly ask you to intervene. But if you decide to do so, you will be helping both yourself and the one who chose the martyr's path when he followed you into the abyss.
Yeah, we're gonna go and help him, but... okay. Ever since I acquired these powers, very good question, everyone has believed me to be Iomedae's chosen. Why didn't you do anything to dispel this misunderstanding?
At first, I did not know who you were, or where your powers originated. This was revealed to me only when my herald offered up his dying prayer from the depths of the abyss. And following his desperate plea, I sought to confirm my suspicions. Until that point, I had observed you without intervening. After all, your crusade was securing victories, the first Golarion had seen in many years, so even if it was not I who had sent you into battle, it felt unfair to undermine you.
In other words, our Imperial guest had no problem with your power, as long as she didn't know where it came from. She didn't even share her suspicions with her own herald. And after all that, someone dares to claim that demons are the most deceitful creatures?
You've got a point there.
You should not blame someone else if you base your accusations on vague suspicions rather than solid proof. You call my behavior deceitful. You, of all creatures, who kept the commander ignorant of the fate you had chosen for him? Indeed, the insolence of demons knows no bounds.
A demon lord stands before you. Why don't you destroy her right here and now?
I could. But then every other demon lord would decide that he or she was next and stand against me. In response to that, the Imperial lords would take up arms. Then Hell, Heaven, and Elysium would join the conflict. A war would break out, one which mortals could not hope to survive.
Why have you decided to descend to the world of mortals at this particular moment?
As I have already said, I am here to open your eyes to Nocticula's lies and to prevent more calamities in the future. You are at a crossroads now. I will not force you to do anything, but you needed to learn the truth and have the chance to cleanse yourself.
Why did Arita do everything possible to lead us to the idea that she was a key too?
The impulses that drive a soul as black as hers are beyond my comprehension. Perhaps she was startled by my arrival and decided not to bother keeping a secret that was bound to be revealed. Or perhaps she is up to some cunning scheme. Be on your guard. The architect of the world wound will surely try to bring you down. For if she truly is a key, then it must mean that she will die sooner or later due to the influence of her own horrible creation. And that means that sacrificing you is her only chance of survival.
That is true, but in that case, why would she reveal it to me now? Explain it to me again. How exactly can you help me cleanse myself from the influence of the abyss?
Aurilu has planted a piece of the abyss itself in your soul. The only thing that can cleanse the soul of such a taint is that same soul. But I will be near. I will show you how to root out the demonic corruption. I am not a demon, and I do not offer any simple solutions. You will have to go your own way, no matter where it leads.
Fine.
It is time to make your decision then.
Not yet.
If you have questions, ask away.
Why did you try to hide the fact that closing the world would kill me?
Because if I'd told you the truth, you would have refused to do it. But you're not angry with me, are you? After all, everything has worked out perfectly fine. We found another key. So now you can live and enjoy your life. Provided that you catch Aurilu, of course.
Now that you've decided to use Aurelio to close the wound, do you still want me to keep the powers I acquired from her?
Of course I do. Firstly, you'll need those powers to catch Aurilu and bring her to Threshold. Surely you don't think she'll willingly fall into your hands, and the demonic hordes will politely make way for you. And secondly, the powers Aurilu gave you protect you from dying before your time. None of us want the wound to kill you prematurely. You are extremely useful to me alive. After all, if you let Aurelio slip through your fingers, we can always go back to the original plan for closing the wound.
Aurelio deliberately led us to the idea that she was a key to why.
Apparently, she understood that her secret was about to be revealed
I
anyway,
don't buy that.
so she decided to leave in style.
I don't buy that.
What human female over 100 years old wouldn't feel flattered at being the center of attention? Although she could have other reasons. She obviously wanted us to understand everything and immediately rush off in pursuit of her. She's probably been preparing for a war of all against all for a long time. And now she wants to wage it on her own terms. Expect treachery and traps wherever you go.
Okay, interesting. That is probably the only answer where they both agree. Where could Aurelio have fled to?
Now, let's think. She's hidden in the abyss before. She won't dare to return there now. Not only to my realm, but to any other either. Even if Baphomet and Discari both take it upon themselves to guard Aurilu personally, that won't stop me from sneaking in, slitting her throat, and leaving undetected. And she knows that. If I were her, I would hide in a place where the powers of her enemies were uncertain, and her own power was close to unlimited. I say you should look for her here, in the World Wound.
And you're afraid to stand in the presence of the goddess?
Tut tut, how rude! I wouldn't say the girl is that hideous. I admit her face is far from perfect. Her body too, to be honest. But all in all, not bad. I've seen worse.
Your theatrics are too transparent to offend me, demon. At least, they can hardly offend me more than the very fact of your existence.
Do you really plan to use me to become a goddess
That
yourself?
is nothing but the wild speculation of a little girl who gained celestial power through no merit of her own, and now fears that others may do the same, forcing her to share her place in the spotlight. Do I want to become a goddess? Of course I do. Who wouldn't? Can you help me with that? Sadly, no. Of course, Aurilu used to blather on about how her brilliant invention could bake gods like pies. But between you and me, the cleverer the inventor, the larger their ego becomes. So far, she hasn't managed to create anything stronger than you. And no offense, but you're no match for any deity. Very well. It's time for you to make your decision then.
Let's ask my companions.
Perhaps your power came from the abyss, but your beautiful soul has cleansed it of all evil. Don't reject this power, for you have already proved that you are worthy of it.
Your power doesn't lie in magic tricks. You know it doesn't. Your real power is inside you. You can win without tricks. I will help you.
Maybe I'm missing something here, but how can a demon grant the power of an angel? Listen, if you had no goodness inside, you couldn't have reached Lariel in the caves beneath Canabras. I remember how once, long ago, you showed me the light of heaven. Maybe I didn't believe in you right away, but I believe in you now. You've proven time and again that you deserve the light of heaven. You are my commander, marked by an angel. This power rightfully belongs to you.
As a member of the Order of the God Claw, I ought to advise you to obey the will of the goddess, or at least to take it into consideration. But as your companion, who has spent a lot of time with you, I can't help but notice you have reforged demonic Nihindrian power into angelic power. This is a sign of order triumphing over chaos. Perhaps there is room for maneuver here. That is why I advise you to weigh all the options and make your own decision.
It's not my place to gainsay the will of my goddess, but the thing is, I can sense evil. And I don't sense it in your power at all. I just don't. Whatever those horned monsters had planned for you, you definitely aren't playing by their rules.
You gave hope to the Crusaders in their darkest hour, even when all seemed lost and only despair and death lay ahead. With these powers, you have saved countless lives, and you will save more. Of course you must keep them.
Someone pinch me. We are standing in the presence of the most pompous goddess in the world, debating whether we should listen to her or send her packing along with her invaluable opinions. I shall remember this moment for the rest of my life. Even as I stand in Pharasma's court, I shall tell this story to anyone who will listen. As to your original question, I'll be honest with you. Your power turns my stomach like sour prunes. Reject it, it can't hurt.
Ugh, these dames are tough. But Iomedae is as tough as you. If she tells you to do something, you better do what she says. I can feel it in my tail. You're good and righteous and all that, so do what the righteous goddess is telling you. Maybe it'll even make my life a smidge easier. After you, become more like a human.
Experience tells me that it's wiser to trust yourself and your own abilities. You can't trust what clients tell you. One day you're a hero, the next you're working for the enemy. Sorry, but it all looks like a setup to me. First they tell you to lay down your weapons, and then, once you're unarmed, they finish you off in some back alley.
Your powers are interesting from a theoretical point of view. You are an experiment started by Aurilu Vorlesh, and terminating it before it is complete would be foolish, not to mention impolite.
Okay, I've made my
I
decision.
am waiting for your answer. I hope you will choose wisely.
Quite right. Make your choice, and make it the right one.
Choosing a mythic path. Okay, so we can go with Angel or Legend. Legend. What's the difference? This is an interesting choice. I really don't know. I think we're just gonna go with the Angel Mythic path, but I'm really tempted to go with Legend. I just don't know what the difference is really. It looks like I'm losing the... I've got no clue. I think I'm just gonna go with the Legend path. Or maybe the Angel path. I don't really know. I'm going with Angel, I think. Right. The owner of this imbued weapon now is under effect similar to haste, but granting 2 additional attacks and making all spells of level 7 or lower quickened as through using the quicken spell. This seems, speed of light seems good. Demon Bane is good too. Everlasting Flame, let's go for speed of light. You sacrificed your own humanity to serve the forces of good, Goddess. Do not judge me if I choose to do the same.
It pains me to hear that. But I am not your judge, and I shall not stand in your way. At least not until I see that Golarion is under threat. You have chosen your path. Farewell.
Oh wow, get a load of you, a real angel. You're even glowing. But you know, you still have a demoness sitting on your shoulder. You'll be lecturing folks about being all good and righteous, but you'll still be sitting there. You'll never be bored, I'll give you that.
It would have been so foolish for you to reject your powers. So many victories, so many achievements lie ahead for you. Well, go now. Capture Arilu, and prove which of you is making the best use of her invention. I'll be watching you.
So an angel mythic path means I'm siding with a demon? That's a bit weird, but I'll take it. Alright, well that was a big decision. We are an angel fighting for Nocticula. I hope we'll get a chance to talk to Arilu before we kill her, because there is something bigger there, right? There has to be. Looks like Dresden is back in order now. Lots of angels walking here and there. I can't believe it. Victory, and what a victory. Light has returned to Dresden, and the demons are running, crying back to their demon mummies. Dresden been lost again and again, but again and again we win it back. You win it back, Commander. For light, for truth, for life. What's the city like now? It's been cleared of demons and it's shining bright as a temple with 1,000 candles. I don't think it looked this good even back when it was first founded. This isn't victory yet. We knocked back the demons, but they could return and continue tormenting the innocent, or I won't stop until the last demon gets the punishment it deserves. You betcha, huh? Those scum didn't know who they were messing with. What's the situation at the front? Unknown. Her Majesty mustered all the troops she could raise. She could raise the Sword of Valor and advance on the demons. There's been no word from her since she left. Perhaps she's boldly taking ease even now. Maybe her bones have already been picked clean by demons. We don't know, and I doubt anybody except you will be able to find out. But that's not all. Baphomet's minions keep taking swipes at us. The scumbags are holed up somewhere, the Ivory Labyrinth, I'll bet, and they keep opening portals in different spots, dropping off a dozen units, and then closing the portal before we can't get to them. We lost most scouts that I would care to admit before we figured out how they were pulling off that little trick. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe you could go we maybe could get one of those portals in time. You could be ready for them somehow, so that when one opens, you get inside and crack some skulls. They might even be holding the poor Herald in there. If he's alive, you can free him. How do you feel after seeing the goddess in the flesh? My ears are still ringing from those trumpets. After witnessing that sight, I don't think I could be surprised by anything ever again. You dared to go against the goddess, and she forgave you. My mind can't comprehend it. I was worried your impudence would be the death of us all, but now I think that you are strong enough to stand against the abyss, even without heaven's help. As I just said, I have to catch Arilu. Any idea where I should look for her? Not especially. She's been roaming the abyss all this time, but now that avenues close to her, Nocticula and the other demon lords are all slavering for a piece of her. I think she's someplace around here in the wound. Some nasty little place like Ease, or maybe she went as far as Threshold. As an entire army of demons enhanced by Nahindran crystals was being sent here. It's being led by a demon named Mutasafan. Do you know anything about that? Scouts reported that movement of a large demon army far to the south of Dresden. They were marching across a dried out lake. There used to be a Sarkorian holy place there, I heard, but where they went, nobody knows. They are not headed for us, that's for sure, at least not yet. Thank you for the report. I'll be setting off without delay. Go on and fly. Chase the demons away from us. Now I know for sure the Fifth Crusade will be the last. It's all over for the Fiends. They finally met an enemy they could never have seen coming. Just do one thing for me. Come back to Dresden if you can. Folks are drawing to your light. Those who are left are coming back, and now people are arriving. They need someone to tell them what to do. They need someone to show them. They need someone to lead them forward. Secker, I have fairly important news. I will do my best to be brief. The Hell Knight Order have not reacted well to the developments I mentioned in my latest report, specifically regarding the true source of your power. The very notion that we have been cooperating with a weapon forged by Arilu Vorlish and Nocticula has caused discontent. The orders have not issued any official edicts, but many chapters and high-ranking knights have been recalled from their assignments and barricaded themselves in one of our outposts. The one you know, in fact. I suggest you go there and resolve the issue between the orders and the Crusaders. This is a matter of importance. What kind of reaction should I expect from the Hell Knights? Any, up to and including a formal declaration of war, which is why you must go to the outpost and resolve the issue before it devolves into open conflict. Right, I'll do that. Excellent, that's all I had to report, so I will return to my duties and you may attend to your other affairs. In my dream, a fire destroyed almost everything. The only thing that survived was the table. Yes, I remember that. I've returned to my dream word many times. The nightmare still lurks there. But I want to understand why this table is so important. Why did it survive the fire? I can't figure out what makes it special. It looks like a simple piece of furniture. It just stands there. What it's supposed to mean? What am I doing wrong? Is your nightmare still attacking you? Not openly, it still lurks in the shadows, gnawing at my soul from within. It never leaves me alone, but it hasn't tried to fight me again. Would you like to enter your dream again? I don't think that will help. We've already been there together. No, there must be something else. I must look at it from a different side. But how do you find the other side of a dream? The other side of a dream is called reality. Perhaps the table represents something that you are supposed to do in real life. You might be right, but what exactly should I do? Find a table? Buy one? Perhaps I should learn the craft of a carpenter and make one myself. So many possibilities, and I don't know where to begin. Perhaps Desna can help you solve this riddle, but she was the one who asked me to solve it. I don't think she's going to tell me the answer. I must find it myself, but how? Where did this table come from? Where did it come from? I remember now. There was a loaf of bread on the table. That was Anivia's dream. Remember, she said she wanted to learn how to bake. The bread went up in flames along with all the other fragments of her dreams, but the table remained. If the table came from Anivia's dream, perhaps you should talk to her. I've been living among mortals for a while now, but there is still still so much I need to understand about your kind. How you live, what you dream about. You're right, we should ask Anevia. It's part of her dream after all. That's a good idea. Could you please talk to her instead? I don't even know how to begin a conversation like this, so it's so personal. Please ask her and I'll stay nearby. What do you dream of? Oh, it's Hawkblade. I remember you. You were investigating Diren, right? I am sincerely gladdened by your return and I was delighted to hear of your recent victories. It's a shame that my duty has kept me away from front line. I would like to take up a place in the ranks of your crusaders, and perhaps I will still have a chance to do so, but before that happens we must address another issue. I suppose you have already guessed what has brought me here. We parted ways after the discovery we made at Count Arende's estate. You and I both know that the Count became a conduit for an unknown entity which I call the Other. I retreated to Nerosian and then went beyond Mendev's borders, looking for mentions of such entities and ways to fight them. And now that my search has borne fruit, I am ready to tell you about it. Why did you search take so long? Because we are dealing with a rare phenomenon. The Mendev Inquisition has amassed substantial experience in fighting demons, but here we are against something completely different. I had to travel through our archives searching for cases that seemed in any way similar. I sent inquiries to friendly temples and reached out beyond our nation's borders to experts on the unknown. It was a dull and painstaking work, but it was necessary. So what have you learned? I must be honest, I still don't know what it is. However, I managed to find some evidence of similar incidents, individuals who, in a horrible moment in their life, became a gateway for an unknown entity. The most curious part is that all these cases appear almost sequential. They happen in various corners of Golarion, but no two incidents ever occurred at the same time. This leads me to think that we are dealing with a single entity, one that has been secretly present in our world for a long time, merely changing its gateways on occasion. While I do not know what this entity is, I managed to find something of great value. A Varisian arcanist managed to pick up the trail of the Other and invented a ritual to weaken and bind it. She died under very suspicious circumstances. Her decapitated body was found in her laboratory. Her head was never found, but her notes survived, including the description of the ritual. I have discussed it with several highly esteemed experts in magic, and I am inclined to consider that this is a reliable weapon. We can use the ritual to lure the entity out, bind it, and probably exterminate it, but to do that, I'll need your assistance, Commander. What do we need to do? We must carefully prepare the ritual and bring Count Arende to the designated location. The ritual will lure out the Other, weaken its connection with the Count, and bind its essence to our world like an anchor. The last part is especially important. All the evidence indicates that while the gateway is active, the Other can travel freely between the material plane and some unknown space that lies beyond. If we fail to bind the Other with the ritual, it will either escape or, in the worst case scenario, drag us into its realm. Hence we must lure it out and then, I suppose, defeat it. There is one more issue. Aside from the fact that we'll have to fight this incredibly powerful and horrifying creature, the Other suspicion must not be aroused until the very last moment, and this means that the Count must know nothing as well. The best course of action would be to take the Count to the designated location without telling him the reason for the journey. Then, we must frighten him and make it appear that his life is in danger. The Other will believe that its gateway is in peril, and then, I hope, it will show up to protect it. The ritual circle will work as a trap, but it is crucial and I stress this, that we convince the entity that we know nothing of its existence, that it is Direns who is in danger, not the entity itself. Otherwise, there is no knowing what may happen, and I don't want to give the adversary any chance to outmaneuver us. Why do you think the other will appear to protect Diren? The Count has been in danger many times before and nothing special has ever happened. You have a special connection with your companions, Commander. You shared part of your mythic powers with them. The journey through the abyss with you... they journeyed with you through the abyss and survived to tell the tale. I believe the other understands this. It also must understand how dangerous it would be if you were to become a benefactor, but an enemy to its gateway. I am certain that it will react to a threat coming from you as opposed to ordinary encounters with demons and cultists. How dangerous is it? It is extremely dangerous, which is why I have come to you with this. All the evidence I've collected on the other, in particular the list of its victims, which include powerful demons and strong mortal mages, make me certain that we are dealing with something extraordinary here. It is stronger and more dangerous than Balors and other generals of the Abyss. I also suspect that the oracle powers the Count has developed come from the other. As a rule, only gods, imperial lords, and other extremely powerful beings are capable of granting such abilities. I know no one except for you who could challenge such an entity, so I'm asking you to help for the safety of all who dwell on Golarion. However, I believe that we can shore up our strategic position if the other doesn't suspect we are preparing a trap until the very last moment. Even the most dangerous of creatures become more vulnerable when caught off guard. The main thing we must do is to take a methodical approach and stay alert. I think that is within our abilities. Are you sure that the other is hostile towards us? In all this time, it has never tried to attack me. I am certain that this entity is dark and truly evil. The evidence and my instincts as an Inquisitor are undeniable. Whenever the other manifests itself, strange and ominous things begin to happen. In particular, I am positive that it is responsible for all the magically decapitated corpses. The ones that were found at Heaven's Edge after the tragedy in Canabras after the Sky's attack. In both places, some of the corpses belonged to civilians and others to demons, and in Canabras, some of the victims were cultists. I'm convinced that the other is pursuing some interest of its own, and thus far it has ruthlessly exterminated any who learned of its existence. And now you and I know that it exists. Draw your own conclusions. If Direns is the gateway, can we just slam this gateway shut and leave the other on the other side? We can by killing the Count, but firstly I am not sure that the other won't try to protect its gateway, and in that case we would have to face it unprepared. And secondly, I am opposed to the idea in principle. Sometimes Inquisitors must make hard decisions. I've made a great many in my lifetime. For instance, I can kill a person possessed by demons if she or he is at imminent risk of taking many lives and I have no time to perform an exorcism. But in this instance, the situation is not so critical. We have a way to fighting the other. I will not agree to commit cold-blooded murder, not even the murder of someone as disgraceful as Count Iomedae. I'll help you. Thank you. Now let's go over the entire operation once more. I'm convinced that we must lure out the other somewhere far from Dresden and other populated places to avoid civilian casualties. I have chosen a suitable location within the World Wound. I'll mark it on your map. You must bring the Count there without alerting him to what's about to happen. I assume that another foray into the World Wound will hardly raise his suspicions. I'll wait you there with the ritual circle prepared. But before we reach the crucial moment, you must make the Count and the other believe that the Count is in danger. I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to tell him that you made a deal with the Mendev Inquisition and the Count will have to face punishment for his crimes, real or imaginary. I'll find a way to intimidate him, but you must play along. We need to provoke the other to come out to protect its gateway. That's when we finish it off once and for all. This case will be my greatest triumph or my greatest failure, but I firmly believe that it must be done. Remember my words, the other must be convinced that we are not a threat to the Count and that we know nothing of its existence. The slightest suspicion could prove fatal for us until we meet again, Commander. Lathimas, who are you? Commander, it's Themas. I won't be my tennis pair for long. Open the door, treasure room, please hurry. The scholar you helped some time ago. I can't remember that. What door? What are you talking about? Oh, the dragon burial ground. Of course I remember. Yes, we went there together looking for dragon bones. What? Did you manage to open the door? Yes, I won't enter without you waiting on your help. I'm on my way, bro. Dawn of Dragons. Commander, Melissa. From the village of Chili Creek. Help, please help. He's gone crazy. He will kill him. What's happened? Do you remember? No, I don't. The cleric who came to our village a year ago. The locals weren't very welcoming to him back then, and after all, he was a stranger who was preaching about a strange new god. But little by little, is this the village with the Hydra? Maybe he went fishing alongside and told people to stir up a crusade. Okay, well, eventually we became very close. We started to plan a wedding. My brother didn't seem to find it at first, but after we got married, well, that's when he lost it. He became violent. He threatened to hurt us. I tried to talk to him, but we even thought about leaving the village. But when my brother found out, he lost his mind completely. Markiel is strong, and no one else in the village dares to challenge him. It was a miracle that I managed to escape, but my husband is still there. He didn't make it out of the village. I don't know what's happened to him. Help us, please. What caused this change to Markiel's behavior? He really honors the village traditions. We've been worshipping the river for many generations. He was not keen on having the cleric of a foreign god in the village, but he was willing to tolerate Cherno's presence for a while. However, my relationship with Cherno, I'm really bad with names, disappointed Markiel, especially when he discovered that I had begun to worship Erastil too. Okay, I'll help you. Looks like that's everybody. Wow, that was a long chat. Anyway, we need to rest, we need to I need to think and plan all these quests, and I need to distribute these items, level up. So I also need to look at the Crusade affairs again, see where we are there. And when we are done with that, we will go on another quest.